Part 377. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3761. Bet right. All the cards that went bankrupt and auctioned at that time came in handy. Although nearly 100,000 fragments of the Divine Stone were spent, everyone knew how this deal was calculated for a loyal and weak demigod. Your Majesty the Lord. Thank you, Lord God, for your help. If it weren't for the crown of God, I would already be a handful of dry bones. Lena bit her red lips, showing endless gratitude on her beautiful face. You are mine. If I don't help you, who will you help? Furthermore, the reason why your demigod Thunder Tribulation suddenly mutated is also because of my involvement. Fang Fan pondered for a while, then looked at Yuan Kong, and pointed out something. Lena is so shrewd, she immediately figured out something. Your Majesty, is there a true God who is hostile to you secretly dealing with you? My existence has been exposed by His Majesty the Divine Lord in advance. Your Majesty, Lena is guilty. Lena's complexion changed immediately when she thought of this joint, and then a look of panic and anxiety appeared on her face. As she spoke, her whole body trembled slightly. Don't think too much about it. It has nothing to do with you. That guy has been eyeing me for a long time. It's just that this is the lower realm, and his hands are not that long, and he can't reach here. I can only rely on doing a little trick every time the thunder comes. Humph. I don't know that the stronger the sky thunder, the more cultivation will increase after crossing the catastrophe. To some extent, it can be regarded as helping us. This guy is stealing a lot of money. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, put his hands behind his back, and couldn't help but fell into endless thoughts. The more you think about it, the deeper your thoughts become. It is more than words. This is quite interesting. Develop slowly, choose slowly, and then advance in an all-round way. Let's go. Go back first, let's talk when we go back. There are too many people outside, and there are too many people. Fang Fan glanced around, and countless eyes around him were staring at him and Lena. Many of these gazes are malicious. So we need to be more vigilant and not slack off in the slightest. Once something happens, it's no small matter. Although there are weak demigods around to help, but they can't be too sloppy. After all, there are still a few strong demigods here to help out. Among them is Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance. This guy has been eyeing him all the time. Obey your Majesty the Lord. Lena nodded, and then obediently followed behind. Hey, I told you, don't call me God Lord, just call me Lord Lord. The title of His Majesty the Lord is too direct. Fang Fan shrugged, then reminded. Now Fang Fan just wants to keep a low profile, and really can't continue to be high profile. Now everyone wants to ask him if he is the reincarnation of the true God. Regarding this question, Fang Fan has long been numb. Answering the truth no one believes, and answering alike can easily cause many disturbances. Good master. Lena cried out sweetly. It's the Lord. Fang Fan froze for a moment, then corrected himself. But I just want to call you master. You are Lena's master. In Lena's eyes, you are Lena's master, and Lena is your eternal female slave. This title will not reveal your identity. Lena held her head high, and then said arrogantly, her eyes could not help but flash a different kind of brilliance as she spoke. Feelings gradually became more appropriate. Very real and very clear. Seeing Lena's delicate appearance, Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, subconsciously acquiescing. This title seems to be okay. Lena and Fang Fan rushed towards the gate tower, where there were people from Guangming Academy. Along the way, they were all watched by everyone. Master, shall we go back directly? Master, with your dignity, Why do you succumb to a bright academy? Master, Lena wants to tell you something. Owner. Lena didn't know what was wrong, but she suddenly turned into a chatterbox and started talking too much. Fang Fan opened his mouth, his brain was buzzing. This taste is really not that good. Owner. Yo. Are you so good at playing now? My husband is really amazing. Chu Sisi came over, and when she heard this, she didn't know why, but felt a little uncomfortable. It felt like there was a void in my heart. That feeling is imperceptibly irritating. A heart surged silently, teeth chattered uncontrollably, and a heart also became agitated. Husband. Did you take another room? Concubine Xiang came over, looked at Lena a few times, and then couldn't help but give Fang Fan a blank look. Scumbag. I've seen through your nature a long time ago. Xiao Liyulai couldn't help coming over and humming. Now the situation is a little unclear. Why did this painting style suddenly change? Feeling suddenly turned into a crusade posture? Are you all busy hunting down scumbags? Ah! Can you play like this? Inexplicably feel a little gimmicky. Even if it stops a little bit, that's fine. What he said seemed to be a heinous crime. Steady. Boy Fang Fan, you're taking off again. I knew you kid could do it. Fang Fan boy, this time your confidant can successfully survive the demigod cleavage. Won't my 70,000 or 80,000 god stone fragments have made great achievements immediately? That is to say, if I hadn't given you generously at critical times, you would have lost not only a confidant, but also a weak demigod. Weak demigod. That's a weak demigod. In our bright academy, are there only a few weak demigods? Isn't it just Shui Wanren, the deputy palace master? What kind of supreme existence and honor is this? Fang Fan, you all say that the kindness of a drop of water should be repaid by a spring. I don't want you to repay my 70,000 or 80,000 pieces of the God Stone, just return my million pieces of the God Stone at will. Why? Who made us brothers? Bai Biao came out, and while talking, he raised his head and chest up, the arrogance on his face was beyond words. He said it with a straightforward look, and it was true. This time, thank you very much. Fang Fan looked at Bai Biao, patted Bai Biao's shoulder, and couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Thousands of words merged into one sentence, that is gratitude. What is close to the ground is that there is such an extraordinarily real feeling. Thinking in place, the endless brilliance in the eyes flickered all over. For a moment it seemed real. It feels like it is slowly expanding. Ah! Have your kid been taken away? Are you Fang Fan kid? Bai Biao jumped suddenly, and then looked at Fang Fandao in astonishment, as if something incredible happened. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3762. Fang Fan was speechless, so I just thanked him. As for being so excited? Acting like I'm some kind of grim butcher. It hasn't been taken away, it's genuine. This time, I really want to thank you. On the one hand, it's the fragments of the divine stone. On the other hand, it transferred a thunderbolt above your head, allowing you to bear a wave. Fang Fan nodded, and then said very sincerely. Be what it should be. In this kind of matter, Fang Fan never engages in those bells and whistles. Bai Biao pursed her lips, her body trembled slightly, and real tears suddenly welled up in her eyes. The voice also slowly became choked up. It's really not easy. Boy Fang Fan, I'm so moved. You kid is either cheating me or on the way to cheat me. Suddenly said thank you to me, I can't stand it. Ah. This is real. It's actually true. The sun will come out from the west tomorrow. The world has changed. It has really changed. Boy Fang Fan, don't act so affectionate. Damn it, I, I can't stand it. It's so affectionate. Bai Biao shook his head, couldn't help turning his head away, and then wiped away the tears that flowed out. That appearance and that posture are really performed to the extreme. The sense of bells and whistles is being fully superimposed. This, overly moved. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth twitched. Is this the Bai Biao he knows? Where did that bitch Bai Biao go? Suddenly shed tears, acting as a boudoir and resentful woman? That's not the case. Boy Fang Fan, give me a hug. Bai Biao suddenly opened his hands, and walked towards Fang Fan with an affectionate expression. That expression is too embarrassing. Roll. Fang Fan's face darkened. This guy has never been serious. If you don't stop it quickly, you don't know what the fuss will be like. It always feels like something is missing. The atmosphere is not that active. By the way, where is my master? No wonder it doesn't feel right. My master is no longer, and this atmosphere can't be active. Fang Fan glanced around, but did not see Tai Shuji's voice. Immediately, Fang Fan looked at Wu Meiling, the deputy head of Guangming Academy, who was his wife-to-be. He said that when he saw how the world was imprisoned, he felt enlightened and went back to practice. Why? Your master is like this, he likes to bluff. It's not like you don't know. I don't know what to do this time. Wu Meiling shook her head, and couldn't help complaining from the sidelines. So, my master is about to break through to the demigod realm. Fang Fan's eyes lit up. This is a great thing to know and celebrate. Demigod. It's okay for him to bluff, but in terms of cultivation, it's easy to be thunderous and rainy. I don't think the odds are high this time. Hey, he can't calm down with this character. The road to cultivation should not be rushed in the first place, but it should be gradually developed and cultivated slowly. What good can it do to be as impatient as he is? On the side, Wu Meiling couldn't help complaining. Anyway, the various feelings in this heart seem very real. Thinking about it silently, my brain buzzed. My mind is full of thoughts, my consciousness is messy, and the things I think are slowly increasing. Feelings are sweeping across the board. This time my master has hope. After I go back, I will pour some power of faith into my master. Perhaps taking advantage of this opportunity, it will be done in one go. Fang Fan nodded, with a smile on his face. Great opportunity, don't miss it. There are more and more powerful forces on the side of Guangming Academy. How does your kid know your master's status? You must know that it hasn't been long since your master was promoted to the Supreme Saint realm. Are you going to step into the demigod realm now? Crossing such a critical realm twice in 1 year. Is this possible? Could it be some fantasy? Shui Wanren, the deputy head of the Guangming Academy, pondered. From his point of view, combined with his experience, he suddenly felt that this hope was not very great. At special moments, the strong are king. If you put it in the previous peaceful era, you might not have much chance, because basically there is no too much pressure, so there is no such urgency in cultivation. But now there are internal worries and external difficulties, there are powerful enemies outside, and there are first-class saints prying inside. In such a situation, my master naturally hopes to become stronger as soon as possible. Furthermore, if my master hadn't really realized something, he wouldn't have left without waiting for me to come. Just wait for the good news. Even if it's difficult to be promoted to a demigod in one go, at least you can make great progress once. Fang Fan nodded silently, thinking to himself, his thoughts couldn't help surging. The heart of excitement, the source of surging, everything is in words. It seems that you, the apprentice, understand your master. Why? Compared to you, I am far behind. You too, master and apprentice, are truly of one mind. Wu Meiling, deputy head of the Guangming Academy, sighed. It sounds like I'm a little jealous. I'm just making a rough analysis. How can it compare to master's wife's Huizi Langzhen? She knows everything about my master and knows everything. Fang Fan patted him with a little flattery. In such matters, it is to have eyesight. Returning to the resident of Guangming Academy, Tai Shujia is practicing quietly. In the temporary training room, Grand Uncle Ji was sitting there. His eyes were very indifferent, as if he was looking into the distance, but he didn't seem to be looking at anything. It is more than words. This time I felt something was wrong immediately. Invisibly, there is a strong sense of disobedience. Thousands of thoughts, messy consciousness, everything sighed in silence. Is he practicing? Looking at this, why do you feel so stupid? Could it be that you have lost your temper? Wu Meiling frowned, her face could not help showing anxiety, for fear of any accident. Fine. My master has entered the state. Fang Fan pondered for a while, and then transferred more power of faith from the small world of Shushan Pavilion at all costs. There is not much he can do now, he can only provide the power of faith as much as possible. It is said that the power of faith is of great help to the promotion of demigods, and as apprentices, they can only do this step. As for the cultivation at the core level, it mainly depends on Tai Shiji himself to fully comprehend it. The road to cultivation is not that easy. Swish. All of a sudden, Grand Uncle Ji started to move, and then his body made a gesture of landing on all fours with his belly facing the sky. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3763. And that's just the beginning. Immediately, the actions made by Tai Shujia became more and more incomprehensible. From time to time, it pretends to be a wild goose, and from time to time it pretends to be a toad and croaks. This way, you can tell it's not normal at a glance. Bewitched. Absolutely bewitched. What should I do? Or wake him up? Tell him not to rush for quick success, he can't wait. Cultivation is important, but life is also important. This guy, he just can't listen to what he said. What to do? What to do? If something happens to him, how will I live? Wu Meiling, deputy head of Guangming Academy, shouted anxiously. Master, don't get excited. Not far from that. This seems to be fluffing at random, but if you look carefully, it seems that there is a hidden mystery in it. Interesting. My master is not an ordinary person. Fang Fan's eyes peeked into the past, thoughtful, and actually had some unique ideas in his heart. Thoughts gathered in his heart, and the gleam in Fang Fan's eyes grew more and more. For a moment, Fang Fan seemed to see Tai Shuji transformed into an eagle, spreading its wings to fly, and also seemed to see Tai Shuji transformed into a carp, soaring in the water. Fang Fan stood where he was, stunned for a moment. Fang Fan, Fang Fan. Why don't you talk anymore? What's the situation? Are you also possessed? Wu Meiling blinked her beautiful eyes, and while talking, the nervousness on her face was beyond words. At the moment, he stared blankly at all this, his brows were tightly furrowed, and the more he looked at it, the more unhappy he became. Among them, the problem is very big. Really big. If it is not handled properly, it will cost 2 lives. This kid won't follow the epiphany, will he? The master and apprentice actually realize together. There is such a thing. Really, really unbelievable. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would never have believed it. Is epiphany so casual now? Look at Prisoner and Lock Earth, and you will have an epiphany. Then the apprentice glanced at the master, and can he have an epiphany? How did this opportunity come about? It's really unreasonable. Why? Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, could not help showing envy on his face. His eyes fluttered as he spoke, his expression was unpredictable, all kinds of thoughts were concentrated in his heart, and his whole person fell into a different kind of numb state. Very real, with a sense of clarity invisibly. It is more than words. Not the same, it really doesn't look the same. Good guy. Don't pretend to be asleep. Boy Fang Fan. Let's talk about my God Stone fragment. Wipe. Thank you before, thank you, you have to give me the fragments of the God Stone. Fang Fan Boy. Fang Fan Boy. Bai Biao on the side stared wide-eyed, and was stunned. While speaking, his lips trembled and his eyes wandered. Damn it, that's it? That's it? What to do next? This time, it's the most important thing, isn't it? Hip pulling. Too hip. The pattern immediately collapsed in an all-round way. The situation is out of control. Stop wandering around. Don't disturb them. Let's go out. Just wait until their epiphany is over. It seems that our Guangming Academy is really going to be completely prosperous. Happy events happen one after another. Shui Wanren's eyes lit up, and the smile on the corner of his mouth could not be stopped as he spoke. With such a great thing in front of my eyes, I naturally couldn't control it in my heart. The thoughts are in place, and the ideas are in full swing. Everything is the most authentic gesture. Real and clear. Invisibly, there is a different kind of beauty. Thinking of this, I couldn't control my smile at all. Since Fang Fan, a bastard, entered Guangming Academy, it seems that Guangming Academy has started to go uphill. Hey! This kid is really not an ordinary person. Shui Wanren turned his gaze, and couldn't help sighing in his heart. All kinds of thoughts are condensed in the heart, the corners of the mouth are fully raised, and the smile is spontaneous. Let's go. Let's all go. It's enough for me to guard here. Shui Wanren looked at the crowd, and then expelled Dao, mainly because he was afraid that the crowd would disturb Fang Fan and Taishiji. No. I want to protect the master. Anyone can't get close to the master. Otherwise, kill without mercy. Lena burst into a weak demigod realm, and immediately guarded Fang Fan, her eyes were full of fierceness. While speaking, the aura around him exploded to the extreme, as if it could completely destroy everything. Such ideas are being superimposed crazily. It is more than words. Forward. Shui Wanren opened his mouth, just about to say something, then shook his head and didn't say any more. This bastard is really charming. The women around him seemed to be devoted to him. Masters come and go at every turn, how can a peerless beauty who is weak and demigod have such admiration for a bastard who is a 5-star peak sanctuary? Shui Wanren raised his eyebrows, really confused. What's wrong with me and my husband? Leave me alone. Chu Ceci stepped forward with an expression of disbelief. If Lena hadn't been so overbearing, she probably wouldn't have said much. But for some reason, when Lena said this, she felt uncomfortable in her heart. This is my husband, why can't I stay here? Master, mistress, you can. After Lena saw Chu Ceci, she lowered her head slightly in a respectful gesture. Chu Ceci froze for a moment, but there was a lot of fire in her heart at the moment, but she couldn't vent it. People say that, what else can I say? If you continue to entangle, it will appear that you are a little overwhelmed. This taste is too real. There are thousands of thoughts, and the brain is buzzing. It is more than words. Fang Fan had an epiphany for 3 days and 3 nights. During these 3 days, he felt as if he was walking around in a gray world. Walking around, but can't find the direction. I don't know where the clouds are deep. There was still light rain in the sky. It feels different in that state. In such a world, the whole soul feels empty. There is no place for sustenance, just a state of continuing to move forward. Who I am. Where am I? What am I going to do? Fang Fan kept having these thoughts in his mind. But no matter how he thought about it, he couldn't find a clue. There seems to be some more color in the gray world. Fang Fan glanced at the raindrops above his head, and it seemed that the original black had turned blood red. It is blood red. It's exactly the color of blood. Bright, yet extraordinarily dazzling. At a glance, the blood-red raindrops are about to converge into a river. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3764. Fang Fan continued to walk forward. There is some noise ahead. The sense of sound is gradually strengthened. Thoughts are also fully superimposed. He saw all kinds of people. Human head and tiger body. Eagle head. Lion head and tiger body. There are also people with 4 legs. Each and every novel race gradually showed its unique real body before the eyes, and for a while, they were completely immersed in it. They are fighting. Holding all kinds of weapons in their hands, they are fighting bloody battles with each other. They are constantly bleeding, and their various fighting postures are extremely killing. Every knife and sword seems to be fighting for the sake of fighting. Is this the most accurate posture for fighting? Is that so? Fang Fan walked over. The presence of Fang Fan seemed to startle them. They stared at Fang Fan with wide blood-red eyes, and then rushed towards him with teeth and claws. Gradually opened his bloody mouth, and attacked Fang Fan in the craziest fighting posture. Danger! Very dangerous, very dangerous. Fang Fan then became solemn, his eyes fluttered, and his breathing became rapid. He had to take up arms on the ground, and then he was caught in this chaotic struggle. Ah! Fang Fan cried out in pain, it hurt so much. One of his negligence, more and more weapons were cut on his body, and the blood flowed down like crazy. Fang Fan felt his flesh and blood being cut bit by bit. Collapsed. He fell. When the blood ran out, he fell. He died. Fang Fan felt that he should be dead, but he didn't know why. When his next thought came to him, he stood still in the same place, and he came back from the dead. Kill! 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 People from all races around rushed over frantically. The speed was extremely fast. The sense of madness is superimposing. Fang Fan picked up the weapon numbly, and then continued to fight frantically. Over and over again, just do it like this. Fang Fan himself gradually became numb. He didn't know how long this state lasted, but his fighting posture gradually became weird. His fighting power is being improved little by little. Immediately, with a weapon in his hand, he killed all the people from the surrounding 10,000 races one by one. Ah! Fang Fan opened his eyes and woke up from reality. At this moment, he is a big man, and the clothes on his body are completely soaked in sweat. That feeling is really not very good. Owner. Husband. Lena and Chu Sisi walked over quickly, and then checked Fang Fan's condition, with expressions of worry on their faces. Call. It's okay, no problem. Don't worry. It just felt like a dream. Messy dream. Fang Fan shook his head and couldn't help laughing bitterly. I broke through. From the 5-star peak sanctuary to the 6-star initial sanctuary. If you have a dream, you will succeed in breaking through. Interesting. Fang Fan fumbled for the position of his jaw, and looked into the distance. At this moment, his master Tai Shiji is still enlightened. Let's go. Go out first, don't disturb my master. It seems that my master gained much more from his epiphany than I did. My master's cultivation talent is actually not bad. It's just that he focuses too much energy on improving his combat power and improving his physical fitness. The result of this is invincibility at the same level, but if you want to continue to advance, you need to break through the shackles of your body. In this case, there is some bias. Fang Fan glanced at Taishiji's crimson one, and then couldn't help but sigh with emotion. But from the current point of view, everything is moving in a better direction. Fang Fan walked out the door. Master! Master! Galen Vega and several other heroes came over, with anxious expressions on their faces. Seeing that Fang Fan was fine, each felt relieved. My lord, there is something, this time you were promoted, but our cultivation base was not promoted along with it. Galen waved the big sword in his hand, and then said hastily. The potential limits of these 6 heroes are all 3 levels higher than Fang Fan's cultivation base. Before Fang Fan was in the 5-star peak sanctuary realm, the cultivation base of the 6 heroes was limited to the 8-star peak sanctuary realm. Now that Fang Fan's cultivation base has been raised to the 6-star early stage sanctuary realm, the cultivation bases of the 6 heroes will naturally follow suit. How to put it, generally speaking, this is an inevitable development trend. It is very appropriate to look at it from this angle. In fact, the same is true. The quality of heroes has not been continuously improved. So the upper limit of potential has been pulled down. Now these 6 heroes are all platinum quality heroes, and the upper limit of their potential is the 8-star peak sanctuary realm. If you want to continue to improve, you need to continue to open the upper limit of your potential. In this case, the hero quality needs to be raised to diamond level. If I remember correctly, I have obtained several true god fruits before. And the special function of the fruit of the true god seems to be aimed at several heroes. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, and then began to search in the storage ring. Fruit of the true god, it can upgrade a hero's quality from platinum to diamond, and raise the upper limit of his potential to the holy realm. Fang Fan took out the fruit of the true god, and then looked at the introduction, and the smile on his face couldn't help but increased. It is more than words. It was exactly as he expected. It just so happens that there are still several pieces of the true god fruit, all of which are more than enough for the 6 heroes. Eat them. Fang Fan delivered the fruit of the true god, then nodded slightly. Several heroes looked at each other, feeling a little dazed for a while. However, they have always carried out the orders of the Lord to the letter. Even if the Lord told them to die, it was their duty to them. Such ideas have long been rooted in the hearts of the people. It seems that there is already an extremely deep impression in my mind. In this way, there is no need to say anything more. Anyway, it seems so appropriate since the beginning. Fang Fan nodded silently, his thoughts gradually became chaotic, and his consciousness was also fully surging. Ding! Consume 6 true god fruits, and 6 platinum quality heroes will be promoted to diamond level. Diamond level hero, the upper limit of potential is the Supreme Saint. That is to say, the pathways for the 6 heroes to be promoted to the Supreme Saint have all been opened up. Of course, the premise is that Fang Fan's cultivation base can keep up. As long as Fang Fan's cultivation base can be raised to the low-level Saint Venerable realm, several heroes can be stuck in the Supreme Saint Venerable realm. It can only be said that their cultivation has been at a certain point since the beginning. When the qualities of the 6 heroes have been fully improved, their cultivation bases have also been fully improved. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3765. Low-level Saint Venerable Realm. Entered the Holy Realm. Thank you, Lord. Feeling the surging power coming from his body, Galen couldn't help but his eyes brightened. At this moment, his whole body was also full of power. The improvement of cultivation base, no matter what, I feel extremely happy. Low-level saints. It's just the beginning. Take it easy. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows. He was not very satisfied with his cultivation now. If he is a low-level saint now, a few heroes can be promoted to the ultimate saint realm. If I were a mid-level saint, wouldn't the cultivation of these heroes break through to the quasi-demigod level? Of course, the quality of the heroes will continue to improve at this time. I don't know how to improve the quality of heroes by then. Forget it, I don't want to think about it so much for the time being. The most important thing now is to improve my cultivation base. At least before I was promoted to a low-level saint, none of the 6 heroes had any worries about the limit of hero quality. There is still a long way to go from the 6-star initial sanctuary to the low-level saints. It's not something that can be figured out in a while. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, thinking in his heart. His thoughts gradually became chaotic, various feelings rushed in his mind, and his brain was buzzing. For a moment, the whole person was in a state of complete numbness. No matter how good the talent is, if you want to improve your cultivation, you need a process, doesn't it? It's not easy to pull from the 6-star initial stage sanctuary to the low-level saint in a short period of time. Fang Fan fell into deep thought. Now I can only go some other ways. For example, the card auction system. Pay more attention to the card auction system to see if there are suitable experience cards. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, and then his consciousness fully penetrated into it, and began to conduct a comprehensive inspection. Apocalypse card. Blood Prison card. Shunshin card. True God Consciousness card. Fang Fan was fiddling silently, not knowing how many cards there were. It's just suitable for him, there are really not many. With a glance at the past, there are all kinds of troubles invisibly. Fang Fan secretly lowered his eyes, and suddenly his eyes lit up. Holy Venerable card. Holy Venerable level breaking card, it can be used to help the Holy Venerable to upgrade a level. Ordinary Sanctuary Realm practitioners can use it to increase 3 to 5 small levels. Ordinary Sanctuary Realm practitioners use it with caution, because they may not be able to bear it immediately exploding to death due to the manic energy. The auction base price is 30,000 pieces of the God Stone. Every increase in the price must not be less than 1,000 pieces of the God Stone. One price is 100,000 pieces of the God Stone. Stock, 1 piece. 100,000 God Stone fragments. Cultivators in the sanctuary can raise 3 to 5 small levels. Fang Fan licked his lips, and seeing this, his breathing became rapid. At the moment, this state of mind can't help but expand in an all-round way. As for the subsequent warnings, he naturally didn't care. Nothing. Explode and die. Danger. If you want to take a shortcut to practice, how can there be no risk at all? Fang Fan can completely suppress the risk to the minimum. In the worst case, go to the small world of Shushin Pavilion to use this Holy Venerable breaking card. Even if you encounter some danger at that time, it will not be a big problem, at least you can save your life. Thousands of words are gathered into one sentence, and the most important thing now is the fragments of the God Stone. Make bricks without straw. It's always been clear. If you don't solve this problem, it's useless to say more. Nowadays we really have to be more vigilant. Not only does the Sacred Venerable's rank-breaking card need fragments of the Sacred Stone, but the overall promotion of the top 10 legions is also indispensable. Now the top 10 legions have all been promoted to the high-level holy state, and they seem to be very strong, but compared to the enemies they encountered, they are still too far behind. Shards of the Divine Stone, there has always been a huge demand. Fang Fan had a look of emotion. He wanted to go to Protoss again. There are only a lot of God Stone fragments of the Protoss. As for the Light Camp, the Dark Camp, and the Neutral Camp, there are too few God Stone fragments in their hands. Even if they had some, they were taken from the hands of those Protoss cultivators who died in battle. For the time being, Fang Fan didn't like that amount. Any high-ranking Holy Venerable Legion is promoted to the ultimate Holy Venerable, and it consumes millions of God stone fragments to start. This number can only be described as extremely terrifying. Fang Fan thought about it, and then walked aimlessly on the road. Chu Ceci and Lena followed, seeing Fang Fan's head-scratching lawsuit. They didn't dare to interrupt, so they followed silently. Fang Fan boy. I heard that you are out of customs. Tisk. I haven't seen it in the past few days, but I miss it. Hey, I saw you had an epiphany before, so I didn't have the nerve to say it. Boy Fang Fan, how about the more than 70,000 sacred stone fragments I lent you earlier? Should you give them to me? Hey, I've figured it out too. I don't want the interest and so on. I don't want it. I just need as many pieces of the God stone as I want. Shouldn't we also pay attention to the rhythm here? No matter what, you have to return the money to me. Bai Piao rushed over excitedly, and then began to wriggle his fingers and sigh with emotion. During the speech, the whole person fell into an extreme surge. The feeling was very deep, and the consciousness gradually became sober. In this matter, we must hold on, hold on. There must be no looseness. Thinking in full swing. Out. Promoted. Good. Your promotion speed is extremely rare in our Guangming Academy. Except for Ceci, you should be the fastest. Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, also rushed over. Seeing that everything was going well for Fang Fan, he couldn't help showing a satisfied look on his face. I just don't know when your master will have an epiphany. Shui Wanren glanced at the distant room, and couldn't help sighing. He is not used to hearing Tai Shuja nagging in his ears these days. The relationship between Shui Wanren and Grand Uncle Ji is quite similar to the relationship between Fang Fan and Bai Piao. When they are together, they complain about each other. But if we are not together anymore, it feels like something is missing. Maybe this is the so-called true love and friendship? Or is it brotherhood? This time, it's not all. What are your plans next? Should I go back to Guangming God City to practice, or stay in Yuanqi God City? For the time being, no trace of the Protoss re-invasion has been found. If you choose to go back to Guangming God City to practice now, it would be a good choice. Shui Wanren shrugged, then suggested from the side. I'm going to Tianlin City. Fang Fan nodded slightly, then said calmly. What? Tianlin City. The upper city of the Protoss. Also the city where we fought. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3766. Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, couldn't help but frowned, and then murmured. Yes. I need to go again. If you have a chance, go to other cities of the Protoss. Fang Fan didn't choose to hide it, but he said it calmly. What crazy things are you talking about, boy? I just came back, and I'm going to take risks again. Now you should hurry up and practice. You did come back safely last time, but can your luck last forever? You kid, do you really have no points in your heart? It's impossible for good luck to follow you all the time. Hey, don't be self-willed, just go back to the bright God City. When the time comes, I will practice with you. According to your talent, you only need to practice for 1,000 or 800 years, and you will definitely be able to step into the realm of saints. When you reach the Saint Venerable realm, you will have a certain amount of self-protection power. Shui Wanren nodded, and then said seriously. Fang Fan. Go back and practice boringly for 1,000 years? Is this serious? Non-existent. Not to mention whether Fang Fan can persevere, but his talent is actually just that. If you don't open it, you may be able to make an inch in 10,000 years. Moreover, he was used to opening the hanger, and suddenly put the hanger away. Fang Fan couldn't bear it in his heart. This matter cannot be done like this. To change the way. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes silently, tapped his fingers on the table. His thoughts were in a mess, and the picture in front of him was gradually expanding in an all-round way. I have important things to do in Tianlin City. Fang Fan said casually. What he decided. Even the 9 dragons can't pull it back. Important matter. What can be important? Is your life still important? You kid, just disobedient. Shui Wanren also said with a heart full of concern. Deputy Palace Master, do you really want Fang Fan to clarify your words? Tisk. Why bother? He went to Tianlin City, he must be looking for an old friend. It's the wife of the city lord of Tianlin City. Hey, I just got together after all, and the freshness hasn't passed yet. How do you say it? Not seeing each other every day is like 3 autumns apart. Bai Piao raised his eyebrows, and immediately began to smack at the side. This kid has been restless from beginning to end. Every now and then you have to do something. It seems that if you don't do things, you will not be happy in your heart. A wave of bells and whistles. You can shut up now. Fang Fan stared at him, while Bai Piao still looked unconvinced. Immediately, he couldn't help muttering to the side, I'm your creditor. You boy, be more polite to me. The words are rough and the rationale is not rough. Although Bai Piao likes to talk nonsense, he knows you best if you two are in the same nest. You didn't really lose your soul in Tianlin City of the Protoss, did you? Just to spend the night with that city lord's wife. How stunning and beautiful is that city lord's wife? Can you hook up your boy into such a distraught look? There are so many women around you, how can you not compare to any of them? Not even Xiangfei. Shui Wanren, deputy head of the Guangming Academy, squirmed his lips and glared directly at Fang Fan while talking. That facial expression was very real. This wave of feeling is in place, it is so real. As for the other ones that are there or not, they are naturally not that important. I understand everything. No matter how much you talk about what you don't understand, you are still pulling your hips. Deputy Palace Master, you still listen to Bai Piao's nonsense. You think too much. I need fragments of the God Stone. In Yuanqi Shencheng, the fragments of the sacred stone here can't satisfy my appetite. I can only go to the Protoss. Taking advantage of the intermission of this period of war, it can just be used to collect fragments of the God Stone to arm yourself. In this way, when the Protoss attack again, they will be able to protect themselves to a certain extent. Relatively speaking, that's the most important thing. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, and his gaze gradually became extremely penetrating as he spoke. There are thousands of thoughts, and the consciousness is fully surging. One more thing, don't I still owe Brother Bai Piao tens of pieces of the 10,000 God Stone? Hey, it's hard to bear this debt in my heart. I have to pay back to Brother Bai Piao. Although these fragments of the Divine Stone are nothing, they must not affect the brotherhood between us. While Fang Fan was talking, he immediately looked at Bai Piao, full of emotion, his eyes couldn't help flickering with a different kind of brilliance. Bai Piao. How did this style of painting change? Hearing Fang Fan say this, I don't know why, but I was quite moved in my heart. Brother. Is this brotherhood? As a brother, I have been pressing for the fragments of the God Stone, am I wrong? Boy Fang Fan treats me so sincerely, but am I treating the belly of a gentleman with the heart of a villain? Bai Piao pursed her lips, and her whole body suddenly opened up. It doesn't matter. Not in a hurry. Boy Fang Fan, you can return these fragments of the Divine Stone whenever you want. Even if you don't pay it back, it's okay. We are brothers. With his head held high, Bai Piao was gradually substituting into this deep emotion. For a moment, his whole body was surging. Excited heart, trembling hands, this feeling is incomparable. No need to pay it back. Brother Bai Piao. Good brother. Then don't pay it back. Repaying the money is simply tarnishing our pure brotherhood. Fang Fan nodded, and then said sincerely. Bai Piao opened his mouth, his eyes fluttered slightly, and he always felt that something was wrong. But I can't say it. That taste is very wonderful, and the whole person fell into this kind of different consciousness for a while. You silly boy, you were tricked by him. Shui Wanren couldn't bear to watch this pair of live treasures. Bai Piao is actually a ghost spirit on weekdays. He belongs to the type who can be smarter than a monkey as long as he is glued with fur. But the strong have their own strong hands. Once he encountered Fang Fan, his wit and vigor instantly collapsed. Can't we not go? Shui Wanren frowned, and changed the subject again. No. The main reason is that Guangming Academy's family background is too thin. If there are hundreds of millions of God stone fragments here at Guangming Academy, I will stay here. But obviously, that's not quite true either. Fang Fan shrugged, very honestly. There is no food at home, so I have to go out to find something to eat. This sentence was so offensive that Shui Wanren had nothing to say. It sounds reasonable. Is the main purpose of the vice government to force you to stay here? Soft is not enough, Shui Wanren is ready to be tough. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3767. If it was changed to before, the deputy palace master had used it hard, Fang Fan really had nothing to do. But now, it is not so certain. This kind of thing, as long as the rhythm is well controlled, is actually not a big deal. Do you dare to stop my master? Lena came over at a pace that her relatives did not recognize, and her weak demigod level burst out. If this really happened, Shui Wanren would not be able to judge who would win. They are all in the weak and demigod realm. Although Shui Wanren feels that he needs to be more sophisticated, who can say for sure about this kind of thing? What if you just pull your hips all over the place? It will be nothing at that time. Alexander. His thoughts were messy, and his brain was buzzing. Okay. Your wings are stiff. I can't control it now. Go out and mess around. Don't complain to me when something goes wrong. Shui Wanren took a deep breath, and couldn't help complaining all over the place. Fang Fan smiled silently and didn't say much. Just thinking about the next money-raising plan. He couldn't live a day without the fragments of the God Stone. The treasury of the city lord's mansion in Tianlin City has been looted. There is still one warehouse in Tianlin City that has not been looted. Just according to what Kathy, the 17th Madam of Tianlin City's lord's mansion, said, the defense level of Tianlin City's inner treasury is much stricter than that of the city lord's mansion's inner treasury. I don't know if some treasures have been added after the inner treasury of the city lord's mansion was ransacked once. If it really doesn't work, we can only focus on other cities in Shenzhen. But at the moment, I'm not familiar with the life and place of the Protoss, and I don't understand anything, so it's really not easy to deal with. Why? Let's find Kathy first. Let's talk about it after we find Kathy. After all, she is a member of the Protoss, so maybe she knows more. Fang Fan nodded silently, thinking to himself. The picture in front of him gradually became brighter. That night, Fang Fan fought hard all night, comforted Xiangfei Xiao Liulai for a while, and then hurriedly embarked on the journey. This time Fang Fan didn't choose to make a big fuss. Anyway, it is not a time of war, so the Yuanqi God City can naturally leave at will. This time Fang Fan is ready to bring Lina and Bai Biao with him. The rest are the 10 legions, 4 gods, and 6 heroes, all of which are placed in the small world of Shushan Pavilion. It's just that Chu Cixi firmly stated that she must follow along. If you don't follow me, I won't worry. Snored. Who knows what else you'll be doing. I don't want to see how beautiful that city lord's wife is. Otherwise, how could he hook up with my husband so desperately? Don't worry, I won't drag you down. After all, I am also a high-level saint, okay? I can still protect you then. If you don't take me with you, it means you have a ghost in your heart. Chu Cixi bit her red lips and said firmly. Fang Fan was deeply moved. What should he do at this time? My own woman can only be pampered by myself. Go. Go. Let's go together. But none of you know Protoss now. So when the time comes, you must be cautious. Don't open your mouth. Leave everything to me. Other than that, it's best to disguise yourself. It might have been targeted on the battlefield before. Although this possibility is not very great, but after all, there is such a possibility, isn't it? So, when it's time to be vigilant, you still have to be vigilant. Fang Fan nodded, and while speaking, his eyes drifted away, his thoughts were full of thoughts, and his consciousness was racing in his mind. All kinds of thoughts in my mind gradually increased. It is more than words. The taste here is indeed different. Think more, and your thoughts are more messy. Fang Fan really seems to be keeping a low profile, but now his reputation is destined to prevent him from keeping a low profile. As soon as he went out, there were countless dogs who heard the news and moved. Now this fame is there, even if you want to keep a low profile, you can't keep a low profile. From this point of view, it is indeed quite troublesome. In Yuanxi Divine City, all major forces are shaking in an all-round way. The location of Cao Tang, the Lord of Guangming God City. Out of town. Go back to Bright God City. What? Go straight to the Protoss. What is he going to do? It's not the time for war. Is he going to the Protoss to die? If something goes wrong, there must be a demon. Could it be that there are some amazing treasures near the position of the gods? Otherwise, Fang Fan wouldn't have made such a move. There is a problem. Absolutely a problem. It's not right. What the hell happened? Investigate. Continue to investigate. Cao Tang, the Lord of Guangming God City, took a deep breath, his face was extremely dark, and his eyes were full of murderous intent as he spoke. With such an idea, let alone tell anyone, I can't wait to stab directly in place. The Dark Temple is stationed at the headquarters of the Yuanxi God City. Has it finally come out? Go to the Protoss. Send someone to follow up quietly and see what the hell is going on. Yes. Pay close attention to the traces of Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, and by the way, Caog, the bastard next to him. If you have any news, report it directly. Hee. If the Temple of the Alliance of Light wants to persecute Fang Fan, it's our turn to act. Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, licked his lips and said with interest. Why? Is there such a trouble? If you want me to say, go straight up and put the knife on this kid's neck. If he is willing to surrender, he will surrender. If he is not willing to surrender, can he just cut it off with a knife? Really, the trouble is dead. It's not enough to toss. Why bother? Madman, the first son of the Dark Temple, curled his lips. He seemed quite dissatisfied at the moment, and couldn't help but complained all over. It's not a big deal at first, so I have to talk about it, I have to make a fuss. After tossing and tossing, there is no end. You know shit. If this Fang Fan is so easy to deal with, that Wang disciple in the Temple of the Alliance of Light won't run into a wall every time. Humph. This Fang Fan is very likely to be the reincarnation of a true god. How can it be as simple as you think? Before this guy brought back the head of a weak and demigod of the Protoss. The weak demigods of the Protoss are equivalent to the combat power of our ordinary gun demigods. This Fang Fan can kill a weak demigod of the Protoss, and he can also kill a strong demigod like me. Don't be unconvinced. We don't know anything about the whole cards in their hands. Just like before, when his guards were crossing the catastrophe, they encountered such a tyrannical demigod thunder catastrophe. This was a dead end, but what happened in the end? This Fang Fan used his supernatural powers to divert the thunder and it's a prisoner. Supernatural powers are invincible. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3768. Thinking of this, the Dark Temple and the Saint Motion felt passionate. That kind of idea and feeling cannot be expressed in a few words. The taste of this, only by feeling it, can we truly understand it. Extremely real. The number one son of the Dark Temple, madman, stop talking. Although I still feel unconvinced in my heart, but thinking about it carefully, what Mo Tien said seems to be quite reasonable. As the proud son of heaven, who is willing to admit that there is a stronger evildoer than himself. In my heart, I subconsciously went back to deny it. This is a very real state of mind. I feel like you're still doing useless work. If he is really as godlike as you said, how can a Dark Temple recruit him? What are you using to seduce him? The Pope. The madman muttered, and then complained. You. Presumptuous. How dare you talk nonsense here? Hugh's talking nonsense. What are they talking about? It's just an asshole. How can you say such a thing? Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, trembled, and then glared fiercely at Mad Mo. But in an instant, Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, suddenly rolled his eyes again. Actually, some things are okay. If he is really the reincarnation of the true God, then it is not impossible to become the Pope of my Dark Temple. Even, this is a great thing for my Dark Temple. If my elder brother who is the Pope knew about this, there is a high probability that he would not refuse. In this case, naturally there is nothing more to say. On the side, Mo Tien, the first-class saint of the Dark Temple, licked his lips, and suddenly said sincerely. Madness. Crazy. It must be crazy now. If you are not crazy, how can you say such crazy words? With that said, what kind of trouble do you want to make? Can't you stop for a little while? Feel it a little bit, and inexplicably feel that my brain is trembling. Of course, there is no need to say more about the others, the thoughts are in place, and the whole person is buzzing. Master Saint, you really dare to think about it? Everyone says I'm a lunatic, but I think you are the biggest lunatic in the Dark Temple. He, Fang Fan, is from the Camp of Light and a student of the School of Light. It's good for you, you still want him to be the Pope of my Dark Temple. My Dark Temple and his Light Alliance Temple are sworn enemies. Crazy. Crazy. Madman, the number one son of the Dark Temple, trembled his lips, feeling completely speechless at the moment. He. You are still too delusional. The so-called battle between light and darkness is actually like that. The true gods of the light camp and the true gods of the dark camp are fighting back and forth. They are incompatible with each other. What does it have to do with us? It's okay to be loyal to the true God, but don't put yourself in it. In this case, it is meaningless and worthless. On the contrary, you will sink yourself into it and cannot extricate yourself. In the end, it was completely depressed. So, is that what you want to see? There must be some concerns, right? Furthermore, now we have a common enemy, the Protoss. The Protoss is in front, and the others are not there, what can I say? Now our light and dark camps actually need to be twisted together. In this case, there is no need to care about those silly things. Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, secretly narrowed his eyes, and what he said seemed to be high-sounding. As for what he was thinking in his heart, maybe only he knew. The chaotic heart is slowly followed by anxiety. The situation still seemed uneasy. For a moment, his thoughts were messed up, and his brain trembled all over. He. Master Saint, don't say these things in front of me. I don't know you yet. Don't you just want to snatch Fang Fan, a potential stock, into my Dark Temple? To save Fang Fan from being reused by the Light Alliance Temple in the future, our Dark Temple will be in danger. I can guarantee that if this Fang Fan cannot be used by us, as long as you find an opportunity, you will definitely kill him in an instant. This is it. It's not me, I understand. I understand everything. Just this routine, really, there's really no need to talk about these things. There were more complaints on the side, all kinds of words were fully in place, and thoughts were rushing in full swing. Madman, the first son of the Dark Alliance Temple, looks crazy, but he is actually very clear about these little routines. It can only be said that the matter has come to the fore, and I am too lazy to break it down. After all, everyone has to pay attention to the so-called face. My mind is full of thoughts, my consciousness is confused, and my brain is buzzing. Okay. What are you talking about? Snored. When is it your turn to teach me a lesson? Shut up. Go, send a few more people to watch Fang Fan's movements. In addition, pay close attention to Wangtu's movements. I don't believe such a good opportunity, he can just miss it. Humph. As long as he can seize the opportunity, he will definitely die. Next, I want to see how he will die. This is a great opportunity. It would be a pity if such a good opportunity is missed. Just wait for them to do it, and we can do it. Interesting, a little interesting. Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, secretly squinted his eyes, thinking to himself, and the brilliance in his eyes flickered all over. My mouth is full of thoughts, and the corners of my mouth are raised in an all-round way. Feelings, more and more. Uncommon, indeed it seems unusual. It is more than words. No one can control the rapid rush of consciousness. Wangtu, the first-class saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance that is being discussed at the moment, is already making full preparations. Are you ready? Such a good opportunity, let me seize it. Snored. Sage Caog. This time it's all up to you. What should be done at that time, you should know, right? Remember. I don't look at the process, those messy processes, I am too lazy to watch, and I am not willing to watch. The result. The result is the most important thing. If there is even the slightest deviation in the result, I want your dog's life. In this matter, if anyone trips me up, he. You all know my temper, right? When the time comes, don't blame me for turning my face and denying people. Caogician, what do you think? I entrust this matter to you, it should be fine. Wangtu snorted coldly, and as he spoke, the infinite light in his eyes trembled crazily. Impatience, let alone tell anyone, the excitement is surging, and the explosion is infinite. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3769. This, Caog looked numb. This thing is done, pull your hips. Here he is, sitting on pins and needles. That Fang Fan was heading towards the Protoss city. What was he doing running there? Run to die or what? At this moment, he still doesn't want to die. Who the hell isn't obsessed with his own life? But if there is even the slightest chance, who would want to kill him head on? It is useless to say that some are useless, the key is that the concubine really can't do it. Caog had a mournful face, and he had to pretend to be decent in front of Wang too. Damn it. Really damn it. Now I can't wait to give myself a big mouth. Grass. It's husky time. Now the idea of giving myself a big mouth is getting stronger and stronger. Why did you follow such a master in the first place? Now I am in a dilemma. Paddle. Right. I want to paddle. Snort. Who cares about him? What does this shit have to do with me? Go out, the sky is high like a bird, and the sea is wide like a fish jumping. If I really do something by then, who can control it? I say casually, who can come and check on me? Yes. That's right. Yang Fengjiang Guyan violated. Wang Tu, this old fox, clearly wants to trick me. I can't be fooled by him. In this way, there is no need to feel panic and uneasiness. Caog rolled his eyes, and the various thoughts in his heart gradually increased, his consciousness reached the peak, and everything was said without saying anything. Refreshing. Happy. How? Caogician seems to have some unspeakable secrets. Don't do all this stuff in front of me. Snort. Fang Fan is not dead, you go to die. You should know the weight of my words. The cold snort was in place, Wang Tu's eyes shot with murderous intent. It has been said to this point, which shows that this is indeed very high. All kinds of oppression swept in place, and Caog smiled wryly. What's next? Mess. Grass. The rhythm is out of order. There are a few more to come. The messy heart is oppressing and stretching the hips in an all-round way. Fascinated by it, sinking into the present. Cool moonlight, let's talk to someone. Master Saint, it's not like you don't know how sneaky this Fang Fan is. Why do you pressure me like this? There is a weak demigod beside him. What can I do? Unless you, Lord Saint, do it yourself, what else can I do? By that time, isn't it still a dead end? Call. No. This will not work. Dangerous, too dangerous. How can I know what it will look like by then? If Lord Saint arranges it like this, I won't be able to take this trip. Even if Lord Saint kills me, I still say this. I hope Lord Saint can understand and understand me. There are some things that I really can't do alone. Caog gritted his teeth, and now he can only pretend to be cowardly here. Otherwise, you will really lose your head. Not to mention that he doesn't have much desire for revenge now, even if he is eager for revenge now, but so what? In the end, isn't it still a knife and a fish for me? The current Fang Fan is no longer the previous Fang Fan. In the past, he was surrounded by a great Uncle G who was in the Supreme Saint realm to protect him. But now they even have guards for weak demigods. How to get him? The front is just right, playing a conspiracy. It doesn't seem to be someone else's size. At that time, can't you just suffer along with it? Thinking of these, the whole brain is numb. What to do next is the most important thing. Can't you use some wisdom? Snort. How did I tell you before? You can inform the Protoss. That Fang Fan killed so many generals of the God race, the God race people wished they could cut him into pieces. In this matter, they are much more eager than us. In this way, as long as his face is exposed, the Protoss will help us clean up the rest. Why do you want to go out in person? This matter can be done. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, secretly narrowed his eyes, thinking to himself, and the gleam in his eyes became more and more eager. It is more than words. Exciting, yet real. Fang Fan. You must not stay. Otherwise it will be a serious disaster. It must be completely killed. In this way, we can solve this serious problem. Wang Tu has nothing else in his mind now, he just thinks about revenge. As long as he can get revenge, he can be desperate. This kind of belief burst out in my mind, and for a while, my whole body fluttered along with it. In terms of excitement, there is indeed. And this excitement is really not a star. Be comfortable and have fun. Slowly. Master Saint, have you thought about a question? I don't even know the Protoss language, how can I inform those Protoss? I'm afraid that the Protoss will treat me as a spy and kill me as soon as I arrive in front of them. This idea is really not very clever. Master Saint, this really won't work. Why? How to deal with it next? I have to come up with a charter. Otherwise, it would be meaningless to go there. Master Saint, if you want me to tell you, or else forget it. Actually, in fact, generally speaking, there is room for negotiation between us and that Fang Fan. I don't think that Fang Fan just wants to fight us all the time. Master Saint, if we can properly appease, it may not be possible to abandon the past. Everyone is a member of the Light Camp. This Fang Fan will rely on your help in the future. If he wants to make a difference in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, how can he miss you? In this way, you don't have to feel distressed. Master Saint. On the side, CAOG couldn't help but followed to dissuade. If this matter can be clarified, it will indeed be a great thing. No need to call back and forth all the time. Finally, I have a chance to calm down. Just doing this every day, who the hell can stand it? Wang Tu remained calm and did not speak for a while, but his eyes fluttered slightly, and his expression was unpredictable. For a while, it was a little unclear what he was thinking in his heart. Do you know what you're talking about? This enmity, is it solved if it is solved? You are very generous. The hatred of being castrated, also forget. Since then, you can't even be a man, and you don't care. Hee. You really are a pussy. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3770. Wang Tu was so angry that his face turned green. Bastard. Damn stuff. What is all this? All kinds of messy thoughts rushed in his mind, and his whole body became numb immediately. What are we going to do next? Can we still have a charter? This shit is really endless. What else do you want to make trouble with? What a jerk. After getting on the boat, it will not be so easy if you want to go down. I didn't invite you to join my camp back then. If I remember correctly, you were the one crying and yelling to serve under my sect. You also said that you and Fang Fan had a sworn feud, and you could give up everything for revenge. It is precisely because of this that I accepted you. How? It looks like now, it was all to play me at the beginning. Snored. If that's the case, there's nothing to say. What I, Wang Tu, hate the most in my life are people who lie to me. For those who deceive me, my method is to kill directly. Kill. Kill. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, squinted his eyes, revealing a fierce light in his eyes. Has a very strong sense of temptation. Caog's body trembled unnaturally. In his heart, he was really scared. Being in a state of anxiety all day is probably what this state is about. The messy heart trembled in the bottom of my heart, and the sound of breathing gradually became extremely rapid. He felt a terrifying aura swept over his whole body. But if he wants to make any action at this moment, he will probably be killed immediately. At that time, it is really doomed to die. This road ahead has been completely blocked. For a moment, he looked forward with confused eyes, the others were missing, what else could he say? If you don't obey orders, you will die. Having talked to this point, what else can he do? In addition to obeying, isn't there only obedience left? Although Caog at this moment has successfully passed the demigod Thunder Calamity and was promoted to the quasi-demigod level, he is still too far behind in the face of Wang Tu, who is strong in the demigod level. In other words, the two are not fighting on the same level at all. A slight sweep like this will immediately cool the spot. It looks extremely dire at the moment. Why? Master Saint has said so, what can I do? Since that's the case, I can only accept my fate. What if you don't accept your fate? I'll try. Humble job, I can only fight with my life. Hey, I just hope that the humble job's luck will be better. If you're unlucky, maybe you'll just die on the spot. If it really comes to that time, I'm afraid there won't even be a body collector. Scenes like that are really frightening, helpless and anxious. Caog turned around, wanting to earn some mercy. But obviously he was wrong. Wangtu was unmoved. In his eyes, Caog is just a dog with some usefulness. It's just a dog. If it's casual, it will be dealt with accordingly. Can it still make trouble? What else do you want to make trouble with? I really think too much. It was a dog before, and it still is. Thinking of this, Caog raised his eyebrows, and his mood suddenly improved a lot. Thoughts also slowly fluttered, and all kinds of thoughts in my heart gradually increased. Anxiety, all round gathering, feeling, all round burst. The more you think about it, the deeper you feel. It's just that Caog, who has survived the demigod Thunder Calamity and achieved the position of demigod, has now become a more ferocious dog. Such a fate is already sealed at this moment. For those who are left, there is no need to follow the involvement. Meaningless, worthless, fragmented for a moment. Let Caog lead the way. It's okay if he can't handle the errand, I can still do it secretly. Snort. I can't control that much this time, I have to get rid of him. This Fang Fan grew up too fast. The guards around him are getting stronger and stronger. If I really wait a few more years, this brat will come and swallow me. In this situation, there is nothing left to say. The matter has come to this, it is useless to say more. Suppress this feeling, and then slowly expand. It's better to have a charter for how to do it next. Two-pronged approach, I can't but kill this brat. As long as this little brat is dead, I can live a peaceful life. Otherwise, I always feel like there is a sword hanging over my forehead. This can't be done, this really can't be done. If this goes on like this, before this brat kills me, I'll be scared to death by myself first. Call. The present moment is established, let alone the others. Hold on, hold on. Wangtu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, squinted his eyes, and the picture in front of him became clearer and clearer as he spoke. Fang Fan has become his nightmare. If he didn't kill him, that face kept appearing in his mind. This taste is not good. Inexplicably, it feels like my whole body and mind have been hollowed out. Fang Fan led a few people walking in front. It was Fang Fan himself, plus Chu Sisi, Lina, and Bai Piao. The others are all hidden in the small world of Shushan Pavilion, and will not show up for the time being. Master, there are many eyes around. Lina turned her head towards the surroundings, and immediately figured out the surrounding environment. While speaking, her eyes fluttered slightly, her thoughts gradually became messy, and her consciousness was being fully expanded. There are many pairs of eyes. Let's go out for a trip, these old men in the city are really worried. Fang Fan sneered, maybe this is the so-called celebrity anxiety. Wherever you go, you will become the focus of attention. What can I do? Difficult, indeed somewhat difficult. Master, I'm going to kill them. Lena narrowed her eyes, she was already murderous at this moment. As long as Fang Fan gave the order to the child, Lena would be able to rush out and start killing immediately. At that time, the river of blood will be in sight. No. No need. Let them watch. It's just a matter of time before they can help me attract the attention of the scattered Protoss. By the way, kill them. Fang Fan stretched his waist, with a casual expression on his face, and then continued to walk towards Tianlin City of the Protoss. When approaching Tianlin City, you can encounter some scattered Protoss cultivators. At this moment, many of the spies around have disappeared, but there are still many who are not willing to die until the Yellow River, and they continue to follow. Spying is to be done in the dark. What kind of spy is he when he enters the crowd?